Joined now by White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. Jen, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's start with that big vaccine announcement.
Great to be here, George.
Good to talk to you. Let's start with that big vaccine announcement from the president. 500 million doses around the world. But is it big enough and fast enough to meet the need? They won't finally be delivered until next June.
Well, first, George, a number of these doses will be delivered this year. But this is a real reflection of the fact that the United States, we're vaccinating more Americans than any other country in the world. And we're in a position where we can contribute. We can really contribute in a big way, more than any other country, to the global effort to take on the pandemic. This is just the beginning. There's more we want to do to boost our own manufacturing at home, to get more supplies out, to ensure we're getting the raw materials and materials that countries around the world need. But this is a huge announcement today, a huge down payment in getting the COVID pandemic under control.
Meantime, the vaccine rates are slowing down here at home. Are you still confident that the president's July 4th goal of 70% vaccination is going to be met?
Well, George, we're going to do everything we can to run through the tape. We have about 13 states who have met, who are over 70% at this point in time. We just kicked off last weekend a big month of action. It reminds me of my old campaign days where we're using every resource, private sector engagement, and we're working with local communities to ensure we're incentivizing young people especially who are not at the same vaccination rate as people who are over 40. So we're really focusing on target communities, groups that need to get vaccinated, reminding people that there are variants out there like the Delta variant that are very dangerous. Now's the time to get a shot in your arm, and we're going to do everything we can to reach that goal. But I'll tell you, on July 5th, we're still going to be vaccinating people, so we're going to keep at it even after that.
Just before the president left on his mission, he pulled the plug on those talks he was having on infrastructure with Republican senators. A new group of Republican senators, bipartisan group, is meeting right now, but the Republican leadership is throwing cold water on that effort, and progressive Democrats are getting pretty fired up as well. I want to read you a tweet from AOC. She said President Biden and Senate Dems should take a step back and ask themselves if playing patty cake with GOP senators is really worth the dismantling of people's voting rights, setting the planet on fire, allowing massive corporations and the wealthy to not pay their fair share of taxes. Can these talks succeed given that kind of opposition?
It's always a sign that we're making some progress if there's criticism from all sides, George. So, look, the president is encouraged by the progress. We have a lot of paths forward here. You mentioned that there's a bipartisan group working in the Senate. There's also a bipartisan group working in the House. And we are not delaying for a moment. There's a path forward, or we're moving forward, I should say the Senate is, on a reconciliation process that can move a lot of the president's bold economic ideas forward and also get corporate tax reform in place that will help pay for a lot of these ideas and also make us more competitive.
The president is capping this trip with his summit with Vladimir Putin next week. And in the latest provocation before the summit, President Putin cracked down on the network of the dissident Alexei Navalny, who's been poisoned and imprisoned. How will President Biden confront President Putin, and what's the definition of success for this summit?
Well, first, George, the president is meeting with President Putin, not in spite of our differences, George, but because of them. Because that face-to-face diplomacy, the ability to look at someone you have an adversarial relationship with or you have had in the past and convey where you have concerns, human rights abuses, of course, the detainment of individuals, of activists is certainly a topic of conversation, as is the incursions and the aggressive activity on the border of Ukraine, and as is cyber activity, a huge issue, especially ransomware in light of the ransomware attacks we've seen over the last few weeks. So this is an opportunity for the president. He's going to be straightforward. He's going to be candid. He's not going to hold back. He'll also look for areas where they can agree. At the end of this, we will see. We're not expecting to have a huge outcome from this, but what we want to do is get back on a path, George, to a more stable and predictable relationship, which is in the interest of the United States.
Jen Psaki, thanks very much. Safe travels.
Thanks so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.